Sally Forth Paladins, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command, Orion Pirates. I am Captain Turek of the heavy cruiser HMS Battleaxe as we continue our war of vengeance against the Klingon Empire as the Hydran Star Kingdom. This is in fact take 3 of this episode. The last 2 takes we have suffered, for some reason, game-breaking bugs every single time I try and push into the territory here at 4-9. So we're going to avoid 4-9 for a little bit because, I don't want to crash again. So we're going to patch up the ship. We also need this, some mines, and some spare parts, because this is time number 4. And we'll finish with that, to the map. We're going to head a little bit further south than we normally go. Heck, we'll push into a station, because at this point, you may as well suicide on a starbase. Because, 3 crashes in a row. 2 crashes in a row. There may be a 3rd crash here. But not having a whole ton of fun. We are escorted today by HMS Pallas, which is an RN, which is a somewhat light cruiser, and HMS Vengeance, which is an Hellbore light cruiser. So he's actually a full-on heavy cruiser. We're a command cruiser. This is a light cruiser. And we're looking at a Klingon D5. With any luck, we're also looking at an incredibly weak station, although I wouldn't hold my breath, quite frankly. Pop over here, prep a Wild Weasel. We will overload all the weapons and drop in speed. See if we can't overload and charge all the weapons. Sort of, kind of, a little bit. While doing this speed we can. We're going to increase the speed of time because I would like to do something in this episode, and we're getting power back. There we go. Systems are coming online. Fierce and strong. We'll slow down to our normal cruising speed of 15. And looks like we've got another light cruiser over here. She is a D5 Echo. So a transport, and this is a K, which I do believe is the diplomatic version. Interesting. Klingon diplomats. Ah, yes, there's a contradiction in term. Let us put full power to that forward shield because, well, we already took some hits we didn't want to take. Let's see how much damage we can do to a D5 by running them over. We know that the Klingon E-class, their little tiny frigates, we can basically one-shot if we overload the fusion cannons, but I'm wondering how a D5 will handle this. Looks like we've got Vengeance soaring in. Not going to use his Hellbores at all. And right on top of him. Boom. Managed to cause quite a bit of damage right there. Punched through for 94. That's not bad. And he's mostly gutted now. Wow. Look at the level he's at. Almost all of his systems are offline. That was 1 strike from me and 1 strike from those fighters. They just basically crippled him. He's got no engine power whatsoever to speak of. 2 phaser 1s. 2 disruptors which he is attempting to repair, but son, that is not going to save you. You're a dead man. We're going to come in and finish him off with some light massed phaser fire. So we'll pull in IKV Avenger. Avenge this. Aha! Beautiful. On to the next ship, a D5E, also cruising in at a full speed of 20. He's got a surprising amount of missile firepower, and look at that anti-missile defense system right there. Just absolutely lashing out at the fighters coming from the carrier. We're going to get in here and say, hey, buddy, that's not nice. Oh, combined shooting down effort of HMS Pallas and HMS Battleaxe, absolutely ripping apart his missile salvo. See if we can't turn around this a little bit to keep it off the stern shield, but no, that did not work. He's doing a speed of 23. We'll hit him with everything we got. So we've managed to knock out this shield, weakened this shield, he's lost this shield. His forward shield is down to less than 5, and you little... Ugh, I hate that strategy so much. It's like incredibly stupid. It's causing pinpricks of little damage. It's not going to kill anything. And all it does is basically annoy me. Because now I've got to go back to a space dock to repair that. I am not a happy camper whenever they do that. So we'll pop over here, patch the engines, patch that Phaser G, and son, I'm going to rip you apart. I'm going to use the heavy weapons given to me by the Hydran Star Kingdom aboard this glorious ship HMS Battleaxe, and I'm going to rip your ship in 2. You have only just begun to understand the fate with which you shall suffer. Increase speed because we need to, as he's currently running away like a little pansy. Cowardly Klingon. Slowly we're closing in, even though he's doing a higher speed because he's trying to turn on in. But all that's going to do is give us a shot at you with our fully charged fusion cannons, friend. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for the fun? The Hellbore's ready to shoot. Let's give him the Hellbore. The Hellbore didn't hit crap. So, Phaser G's handling that. everything we got, lancing into his stern. As you can see, fusion cannons do almost nothing. And he's shocked most of his systems. Took out our stern shield again. Nicked the hellbore, but didn't take it out, thankfully. I'm getting real tired of you, buddy. We are just outside of our range where we can lash out with our Gatling phasers. And we can reduce speed a little bit. We're actually not using any energy to charge these fusion beams while they're on charge cooldown, so we can use that speed a little while longer. And some phaser work, and there we go. You're done. Goodbye. Do we have enough firepower to take on this starbase? It really depends on the starbase. Otherwise, this is a wasted endeavor, which is never fun. Because we do like to succeed in things. It's pretty cool when we do. Where are you guys going? No, that's a shuttle. There it is. It's a battle station. You... Really? Really? A battle station? Okay, that's not so bad. That's 6 phaser 4s. We might be able to take that. Slow down. Let him plink away at us while the fighters do the work. He has a single point defense system. Let's launch our fighters. Just get them in on this effort. And all systems to the overload. We're going to need it. If we want any chance at all to cut through his systems, we're going to need an overload shot. Now, we were cocky about this last time, although this is a smaller station. And I think I'm going to order you... Nah, you can keep doing that. Keep going full bore at him. Because we're just going to need to get ships out there to deal damage. It's going to be difficult to cut through that shield, though. He's going to have a very powerful shield. HMS Pallas has no real capability of taking out anything that he's got. Looks like our fighters just got used up. Yeah, they were completely wiped out. He's lost his shield, so we've got that going for us. And now's the point where we actually play this game at the normal speed. Oh boy. If I can stop and wait for the exposed shield to come around, that would cause the most amount of damage. But that is a real dangerous thing to suggest, because those phaser 4s could deal an absolutely absurd amount of damage to me. Keep closing. Oh boy. All weapons selected. Range closing to 1.1, 1.0. Incoming missiles. Slow down. All weapons fire. Normal, hard to port, increase speed to 1.5, or hard to starboard actually. Crap, a port turn is going to expose us to some really nasty crap. We have no weapons available. We didn't cut through the armor. We did 139 damage with that shot. Oh, that hellbore took out a lot of... So it looks like we cut through most of that armor. And then that hellbore was able to rip apart a lot of systems. Look at how many things are offline now. Good shooting. So he's down to 2 phaser 4s. Repairing another phaser... Or 3 phaser 4s. Let's see if we can't cut off a couple of more of those with some light phaser G fire. Whew. This is close. I was not expecting to actually be able to take on this battle station. I saw battle station and was like, no way, we're done. 13 damage from our phaser 1s, so that's doing pretty good. Pull away a bit. Nice. Long-range phaser fire managed to get a critical shot right into the ship's reactor and tore it to pieces. Such a successful operation. Now this does mean it's going to be a little bit harder to continue to push from this position, but it's worth it to take out a battle station, don't you think? Let's push up into here. It's a mission. It's 2 patrols, and we are slightly damaged. Prepare for the operation. What do we got? Green ship, us. Ooh, looks like a random ISC light cruiser that stumbled into this area for essentially no reason at all. But we will not look a gift horse in the mouth. Transporters, what can we steal? They're dilithium crystals. So we now have the capability to steal dilithium crystals. That is exactly what I intend to do. Pop in there, nab them, and then probably kill somebody who might show up over here. So, anytime now. As soon as all the phaser capacitor is fully charged, we will kick this into overload. Can we not? No, we can actually charge this at speed of 14 while overload charging everything. Who do we got? It's a single frigate. A little frigate. It is a F5. Ooh, their stock little frigate. So this weird looking thing. It's not that weird looking, but definitely not so much up to our level. Sorry, man. It's nothing personal, but you're a little bit, well, undergunned to be facing a heavy cruiser. Even if that heavy cruiser is basically designed to run you over. Keep an eye on the CLW. Our Wild Weasel is ready to go. So we are all prepared for this battle. Look at that. He's got at least 2 torpedoes. I'm going to guess they're Gs. Ah, I was right. And phaser armament that mostly fires forward, except for maybe one phaser that fires in a 360 degree. Because the ISC didn't think that there was any stock to be put in the concept of balanced phaser arcs. So about to pull into transporter range, about to steal their dilithium crystals, which will cause horrific things to happen on their ship. Mine. Yes, we've stolen their dilithium crystals, so now their regulation of their antimatter is now impossible. And so it will fail. The whole ship will detonate in a cloud of gaseous plasma. That's a really evil thought, actually. Kind of makes you wonder why it doesn't happen more often, but I suppose that that sort of area is naturally shielded by the fact that it's creating, shields and tuning, modulating frequencies and all that to make sure that the matter and antimatter interact in the right way. Still, it would be a scary thought if that's what you could do to your opponent. Just beam out their dilithium crystals and watch them explode. Ship destroyed. There must be no witnesses. So we will increase the speed of time so that the game comes in and just annihilates this thing from orbit. Any moment now, game. 50 damage was not enough to kill it. So continue to swirl around. There we go, mission complete. So, managed to completely... So I think we have enough firepower to just one-shot pretty much every frigate that we come across, because I think the F5 is probably the biggest frigate that they can get before the X series. So, and we managed to grab that tile. We'll pop back home for a little bit of repair and checking the shipyard. 3528 is the current most expensive thing. I will take a look at it in just a moment as I scroll down. 3672 sounds nicer. It is a Liege Light Dreadnought. Really? This is more expensive? 2 fusion beams, 3 hellbores, so it's got basically less of a heavy weapons armament than what we have got, versus the Paladin Dreadnought, which has 4 fusion beams and 4 hellbores. How is the Liege considered to be... I know it's a Liege Plus, but the Paladin just carries so much more firepower. I don't know, we can't afford it anyway, so let's pop over to supplies, patch up the ship. We're mostly good over here, we're mostly good over here. Yeah, we'll spend the 48 for the fighters. Kind of don't want to, because we don't really use fighters all that much, but they're nice to have. And you never know when they might suddenly come incredibly in hand. So, got another green ship out there, hit that red alert. Ah, it's another one of these missions, except this time it was the Pirates. And we will increase the speed of time. Kind of not anticipating the need to have this, but we're going to prep it anyway. Just in case. All weapons select. And all weapons to overload. So overloading all systems. Looks like the enemy showed up. It's another frigate. Is it another F5? And it's an F5B. Ooh, they're learning. They're bringing the bigger vessels. You have medical supplies. That's just heartlessly mean. He's going to get there pretty quick, so we better pick up the pace just a little bit if we want to steal the medical supplies. Almost in range. Come over to starboard just a bit. That does make it a little bit hard, but we do not want to reveal our forward shield. When we do this, haha, your medical supplies is ours. And now we will set course and target on this F5B. He's equipped with 2 phaser 2s, 5 phaser 2s, and a missile launcher, along with 2 disruptors. Not exactly what I would consider to be the highlight of Klingon firepower. Maximize that reinforcement. Reinforce here. All up and select. Shattered. And increase the speed of time once again, and there, the game sending in the lightning bolts from the heavens to completely annihilate it. In this case, stealing their medical supplies would have no effect on their system's integrity, so I don't know what blew them up there. Another cheap amount of prestige. We still need another, like, 500 in order to buy the ship that we really want, which is a nice big nasty Dreadnought. Another patrol operation to go on. Klingon ships. Hit that red alert. I see nothing. Pop over here, pop over here, pop over here, and pop to here. And we are charging. Moving at a speed of 2. We would be able to move at a speed of 3, but we wanted to prepare the Wild Weasel. So increase the speed of time so we get power as soon as we can. Drifting along nice and slowly. And start to increase the power. A little bit more, little bit more. There we are. It's a target, it's a freighter. The Wild Weasel is ready. Okay. So, yeah. Let's kick on that forward shield reinforcement. Reinforce to the max! Yeah, it's just a single freighter. Probably a phaser-armed only freighter. Really? Command, this is the best you've got for me. Oh well, I guess we're in the doghouse or something. I don't know what it is that we did. But some admiral is angry with us, and he keeps sending us on these do-nothing missions. Which, to a certain extent, is kind of insane, because, you know, dude, admiral, seriously, this is a heavy cruiser that you're wasting for this sort of operation. A little bit closer, a little bit closer. Yeah, there we go. Shattered. Didn't stand a chance because he was a freighter, and we are a hunting death machine. Designed to go out and basically annihilate everything. Well, not everything. Anything we can catch, we can destroy. Anything that we can't destroy can't catch us. That's sort of how the logic of that heavy cruiser works. Pop over here. We've got an open territory. There's grab back, so we'll pop over here. Data recovery. So fly past. Go to a listening post. Seal their data. Worst comes to worst, we don't even have to engage the enemy, which is good because that's a C5 Dreadnought. That's a heavy cruiser. And, yeah, that's a frigate. We are escorted today by an NEC, a new something cruiser. Drone. It's a drone cruiser. Cool. As well as a Federation HMS Wallace, which appears to be a quite significantly armed... I don't want to call it a drone destroyer, but it's definitely a destroyer. Maybe a guided destroyer? That's some serious firepower that we have sort of escorting alongside us, so I'm actually feeling kind of good about our chances of being able to take out the C5 Dreadnought. So let's increase our speed. Let's also put a Wild Weasel in the oven. Make sure that it's ready by the time we need it. And prep that forward shield, because we're gonna need it. Whew. This is a really nice vessel, though. I mean, this kind of... Look at, he's got 6 missile launchers, which, after playing the Marak, is not a big deal. He's also got 5 anti-missile defense systems. Like, if he works with somebody, he can just absolutely annihilate them. So it looks like this is a light carrier of some kind, a VK, which I suppose makes sense. He should have no trouble absolutely wiping him off the map. I have faith and believe in you. The Dreadnought is also making turns to go after him. Sounds like the destroyer escort is opening fire on this D6DB. Interesting. I would say... Oh, it's a drone cruiser. Ooh. How much does the escort have? The escort has more than enough point defense to handle any amount of firepower that he can put out. So this was actually a really good choice for him to make. Unless, of course, he suffers from the common destroyer problem, or Federation destroyer problem of not enough power to run anything. Enough systems to kill anything, but not enough power to do anything with that. The Wild Weasel is ready. We are now at full speed, cruising along, or at least getting up to that point. And I'm willing to bet the Wallace is going to rip him apart. The Wallace is a really good ship. Destroyer escort. I mean, he does have power problems, but not as bad as a standard Federation destroyer that has 4 photon torpedoes. Nope, we're seeing enemy fire zip on by us, so we do have to pay a little bit of attention. There's the jerk maneuver. just beaming a mine on top of him. And in comes the incoming missiles. Does he have enough to handle them all? He does. Either that or it was the mine. C5, Dreadnought. Oh boy. He's got 4 disruptors, 4 missile launchers, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 phaser ones. But look at that! Powell just ripping a hole through the shields and causing some nasty damage. Once we get into the fight, we should be able to cause even more nasty damage. Hopefully we've got enough firepower to just utterly rip him open like a can opener. He's only got a single point defense system, so let's launch the fighters in attack mode. Their weaponry should be able to rip on through and annihilate him. So our forward shield is reinforced, yes? Yes, it is. Not that we have much to reinforce it with. He's doing a speed of 20. That kind of tells me that you're a light Dreadnought. And sounds like that little vessel is starting to get involved. Stand by. Full shots. Everything we had into him. We caused quite a bit of damage. Let's get the fighters back. I would like to not lose my fighters. They are expensive. So we've managed to rip the guts out of this guy. We've taken out 3 of his phasers, damaged 1 of his disruptors to the point where he's had to take that offline to repair it. And we've managed to knock out... Is that all of his forward shielding? Yes, it is. Oh boy. Things are not looking good for you, friend. We've got another phaser one about to come in. He's down from his speed of 20 to his speed of 17.1, so he's definitely has taken a little bit of warp coil damage. How's the Wallace doing? Wallace is fine. Him, also mostly fine, so they've been trading blows and not really accomplishing anything. Powell needs to come more towards me so that he doesn't take so much fire. He's lost 1 of his Gatling phasers, and that could be a pretty big deal. So we're coming in on a run. I'm going to ignore the frigate and just focus entirely on this Dreadnought. Because if we can knock him out, well, it'll be much, much easier to deal with other things. His forward shields have just come back online, but that isn't going to help him because we're going to get right on top of him and do that. So, stabbing through for another 42 damage. His speed has dropped precipitously. He's down to 12 and falling. We'll pick up a little bit of speed, see if we can outrun these, and also at the same time deploy a mine. Looks like the Powell, though, has our back soaring in, taking out that missile barrage for us as we continue our starboard turn. We will have heavy weapons available for the next turn. Looks like the Wallace has managed to punch through his defenses. He's probably kicked out a Wild Weasel. So that fight is going just as well as we could have hoped. And we are rolling in for another run on the Challenger. And it's going to be all of our weapons, including the heavy weapons. Are you going to double Wild Weasel? Nope, you're going to have to grab him. So get on close. Get in close. Nice and close before he pulls that shield away. He's going right for us. Whoops. So, that was interesting. No prestige for that, really? It was a glorious smashing into him. Like that was beautiful. That was the sort of thing you'd write songs about. Do we want to risk it? I really think we do. It's a light Dreadnought. It's not as big as we would want. Oh, do we want it? Let's think about this. The Liege Light Dreadnought, refit with stern shield power and phaser 1s, introduced in 2272, has 2 fusion beams and 3 hellbores. It's got 7 phaser 1s, 2 phaser Gs. It's only got 48 power. I mean, if we were to go for a Paladin, also introduced in 2272 with the shield and phaser power refit, that would be also 48 power. Oh no, total engine power is 58. And would have 4 fusion, 4 hellbore, 8 phaser 1s, and I really think we want to wait for it. I mean, the light Dreadnought would be cool, but we really do want a Paladin Plus. So I think we're going to save with that. We will keep the ship that they've given us. Pop over here, and this is an interesting fighter spread. Looks like we've got very expensive Hornets we can buy. And Yellow Jackets. I'll just leave on the Hornets for now. And we'll buy 60 points worth of those. Stay with the 2 shuttles, and that's mostly good enough. We will save up for that Paladin, because I really want that Paladin, or maybe even a bigger ship. But that will wrap it up for then. Looks like the battle axe went out by basically smashing into the enemy, annihilating a Dreadnought in exchange for heavy cruiser, which I suppose is actually kind of worth it. That's not a horrible trade when you come to think about it. least that's what I'll try and rationalize in my report to the head of the Hydran Navy. Anyway, I've been Turek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to receive a notification every time I release one of these videos, press that little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.